All right, welcome back, everybody. It is going to be another episode of the Monty and Murdy College Football Show. Man, tough saying this, but Monty's not going to be able to make it again this week. So we got Day Day coming back. He's going to rejoin us again. So he'll be joining us in for both episodes this week. Be able to give us some more breakdown, a little more conversation. So if you enjoyed Day Day being on the pod last week, we welcome him back this week. Day Day, what's up, man? How are we, buddy?
Doing good, man. I'm ready to talk about. I'm ready to hear I'm ready to hear your predictions for this week because I think this Saturday all I'm doing is watching college football. I think that's all I'm doing this Saturday.
That's gonna be all that's on my agenda. I might make an early morning trip to the golf range, but then after that, you're gonna catch me on my couch watching college football, probably on the multi-view screen, because OU's not playing a game this week, so not one I necessarily need to focus in on.
Multi-view. I need to get a multi-view screen. I need to figure out how to do that.
YouTube TV, man, YouTube TV.
Do that. Okay. I heard that's like the fourth time somebody told me YouTube TV.
I'm telling you, man, that's the way to go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and dive into it. This episode, y'all, we got our week 4 recap. So that's basically all we're gonna be going over is all the games that happened last week. Touch on those. What our thoughts were, what we think of those teams kind of going forward a little bit, and then we'll touch on them obviously next week or later this week. We'll release another episode where we do our week 5 college football preview. So dive into week 4, man. We gotta start in Norman, right?
That's the game that I was waiting for. That I was waiting to hear your text messages from. I was waiting. Like I said, I was hoping Auburn was going to go in there and actually kind of beat Oklahoma. But watching the game, I was really impressed because you said that you didn't think that Jackson Arnold would come in there and throw the ball. And I'm telling you, his first touchdown pass to the left corner of the end zone, that was a dot. So I'm proud of Auburn for how they came in and played. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So Oklahoma ended up winning this game 24-17 over Auburn. Covered the spread depending on where you got it. It kind of landed right on that spread line. Some points it was at 7.5. Some places had it 6.5. Ended up 7-point spread there. Let's go ahead and get in front of this, man. This game had a lot of controversial calls in regards to officiating and issues with officiating that have kind of made news since this game, right? So we always say, me and Monty, we always kind of agreed that we don't necessarily dictate officiating. Nobody really does. That's probably one of the issues within college football. But what I will address on this this point, right? The biggest one that everybody hangs up on is so there was a play where Oklahoma ran an up-tempo offense. All right, so they ran a play like a little wide receiver drag screen or wide receiver, kind of pretty much like a little jet sweep, but they didn't end up actually throwing it to him. So the receiver just ended out kind of in the flat there. Well, that receiver at the end of that play, they do a quick lineup again. Well, he just kind of walks towards the Oklahoma sideline. So he walks over to the Oklahoma sideline. While one of the receiver who actually received the ball in that previous play is arguing with both the cornerbacks there, kind of talking a little trash, whatever. And then he walks over to the sideline, gets about 2 or 3 yards from the sideline, points at the official, lines up on the line, lines up in a receiver stance. Auburn never sees him line up. Oklahoma runs up tempo, runs the next play. He ends up going down, kind of a fade down the sideline, little go route. Catches the ball right at the goal line, touchdown, pretty much uncovered. Right, so nobody within the realm of him. And then the SEC after the game released a statement that the officials officiated that call improperly. And it's kind of one of those things that ends up being a more as we've gotten further away from it, right? The officials or the SEC and kind of what transpired in that, right? Oklahoma has said that they met with the officials, discussed the play prior in the week. They said they met with them pregame, discussed the play. The officials agreed that it was good to go. Met with them during the game, kind of right before the play was called, asked again just to make sure clarification. So that's 3 times they asked. Officials said it was good to go. so they end up running the play, right? So it's not like Oklahoma's out there deliberately cheating, right? I think there's a narrative that that's happening. That's not the case, right? They asked about the play. Officials said it was good to go. With the SEC saying that, hey, he used a hideout ticket, that's not improper, then that's kind of more of a mess up on the lead officials. But at the end of the day, Oklahoma was doing everything that they deemed to be upright and upstanding in that call, right? Now, is it kind of is the intent of the play deception? Yes, but
Done.
every offensive play is deemed to be a deception, right?
That's what
That's the whole
action
idea.
is. That's what
Play
the play
action. That's what screenplays are. It's deception, right? That's what the offense wants to do, is deceive the defense. So like I said, I don't think there was kind of like any intentional cheating that went on with that, but there are some questions that bring into play, like whenever you get to the officiating of it, right? Overall, I don't really know what you can do to fix it, because all the conferences kind of like having their own officials where they can address those and kind of enforce certain issues within their conferences. But some people argue for like a bigger governing body, and I don't know if that's really the move there.
I look at it like I look at everything else. You make things too big, it falls apart. No big government body. Leave it the way that it is. We just leave it as that.
Yeah.
I mean, they ain't out there knocking trash cans and doing everything like that. The Astros is that cheating? I don't necessarily think so. So what Oklahoma did, I don't see it as cheating in a sense. But hey, Oklahoma had to pull out all the stops to beat Auburn. Like let's just throw that out there. They had to play ball.
They had to play ball, right? Auburn came in and played ball, and despite, whatever everybody said, Auburn took the lead in the fourth quarter, went up 17-16 with a great drive by Jackson Arnold. They were able to run the ball a little bit there, which they weren't able to really do all game against this Oklahoma front. Oklahoma's defense was dominating, probably, I mean, without kind of argument, was the best unit on the field. As far as Auburn offense, Auburn defense, Oklahoma offense, Oklahoma defense. The Oklahoma defense was the clear best unit on the field. However, props to Auburn. They took game-winning drive, or not a game-winning drive, but went down, scored, went up 17-16 over Oklahoma, about 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And then John Mateer, man.
With the run, baby. You ran it in. You actually you asked me, you kind of ran that guy over at the 3-yard line to get into the end zone. That kind of showed heart there. Like I said, I was watching pieces and pieces of it, but like I said, I'm truly surprised that Auburn came out there and actually like kind of started throwing the ball, because last week we saw that he only had 5 passes more than 20 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
And from what I was seeing, he was fading to the corner. He was hitting the deep seams. He was passing the ball. So that's what impressed me about Jackson Arnold that day. So again, like I said, I had Auburn on the plus side, so I'm happy regardless however it went, but I'm happy with how Auburn played. I mean, I know Oklahoma is your team, so I know you're happy with how Oklahoma played, but Auburn came out and gave them a run for their money, man.
They did. They gave them a game, and kind of a sloppy affair. 9 penalties for 99 yards on Oklahoma's side, 13 penalties for Auburn. And so now coming out of this, right? So we're recording this on Wednesday night. So Tuesday, it gets released that John Mateer actually broke his thumb in his throwing hand.
Yeah.
In the first quarter of this game. So he played the remaining 3 quarters and I think it was like 9 minutes to go in the first quarter, that he broke his hand on a throw. And
I think they said that he's on IR right now.
Well, yeah. So his status moving forward is questionable. He's out indefinitely. Definitely had surgery today. Definitely going to be out for the Kent State game. Texas is kind of up in the air, so that return is kind of in the air right now. Just because they just don't know. I mean, he just had the surgery today, so it's going to take a little time. See how his rehab starts going, and see how quickly he's able to recover and get back on the field. But John Mateer played 3.5 quarters of this game with a broken thumb, and was able to lead a game-winning drive. Went up 22-17 with about 2 minutes left. Jackson Arnold gets the ball back. 2-minute drive to go win the game, and Oklahoma defense just takes over, dude. 3 sacks, ending with a 4th and 28 with an R. Mason Thomas safety sack in the end zone to kind of put the game up. 24-17 and really kind of put the final nail in the coffin there.
I mean,
Overall, man,
when you're that far close to your end zone, you take sack after sack after sack. That's a morale killer.
oh, it was a tough way, definitely a tough way to finish.
It's a
Just a
morale.
dominant day for Oklahoma's defense there. 10 sacks on the day. Well, 9/10.
Yeah.
There was a debate about whether or not originally it got reported that it was 10 sacks. Then they kind of updated it to where they're maybe saying that it's a school tying 9 sacks. Either way, an absolute freaking phenomenal game by both teams. And Oklahoma, fortunately for them, they get to go into a bye week after that one. 4-0. They're now the number 7th ranked team in the country, if you still believe the AP poll. I know me and you already talked about that last week with the AP poll. Not a fan. But Auburn, they got a big one this week, which we're going to touch on in this next episode, man. No days off. They got to kind of rebound from this one and kind of move on quickly. Is there anything else you had on this one, Day?
I didn't know that Oklahoma had a bye week. That's actually very beneficial for the hand situation.
Yeah, so bye week this week. Then they play Kent State, who just got beat.
Yeah, you're supposed to roll over them. So, and Texas is not. I think the media did Arch Manning a wrong. I'm not saying that he won't be good or great. He's just not there yet. So I think Texas is not someone where you per se need John that bad from what I see in Texas. Texas comes out there and stomps on Sam Houston, but what happens when you're playing people of your same caliber? You're not doing that. You're not showing this.
Stood over him.
Yeah. It was Sam Houston. That's my alma mater. It's like, you're supposed to do this to us.
Yeah.
So good on you. But so I hope his hand gets better because, you don't want nobody hurt. You want teams to go out there and play at their fullest with their best people and see who wins.
Exactly. That's at the end of the day, that's the goal. You want to see the best teams at the best times for the biggest games, right? So
biggest games, baby. We want shootouts. That's what we want. Low scoring games or shootouts. I don't care which one you give me. Just give me one.
So now we move on to another big game, close one. Michigan at Nebraska. Michigan ended up winning 30-27. The Wolverines, they were lucky. They had 3 long touchdown runs in this one. Be able to kind of get a big ground game going, where they didn't have to ask Bryce Underwood to be Superman, right, with his arm. He was, efficient, didn't lose them the game. Dylan Raiola, over 300 yards. It was Michigan was in control for most of the game, but Nebraska hung with them, man. Made it a game late. Michigan was able to improve with a win. Now 3-1. What'd you think about this one, Day?
Well, I caught a few glimpses of it from the beginning, and at about the middle of the game, right after halftime, I caught a few glimpses of it while I was doing what I was doing, and I was really surprised in Nebraska. I was like, you know what? I have faith. Like, I had Nebraska Corn Hustlers. Like, this is the ball they played. Everybody talks about Matt Rhule third year. Statistically speaking, his third year is his third year, which is absolutely phenomenal. So I don't believe if you have a 1-loss, 2-loss, you can't make it all the way to the end. But they can't lose another one like this. Nebraska has to win these games. But one of these days I'm gonna find the shirt so we can tell the audience what Nebraska people wear. It's like we always almost win or something like that. It's like 3 A's because they do. They always almost win. That's just Nebraska football.
Yeah, and man, what's weird is a lot of people have negative thoughts about Nebraska coming out of this one, but to me, this one more or less proves a little bit more to me about Michigan. I know there were some question marks after Oklahoma beat Michigan the way they did. That what kind of team Michigan actually was this year. It answers some more solid about that, but man, it still makes me feel like Nebraska's still going to be a pretty good football team this year.
Nebraska's going to be a really good team this year, I believe.
And you just got to look at it for their perspective. What is a successful season, right? For me, looking forward at it, they got to play Penn State still, and they got to play USC. Outside of that, they should win every other game that they're in. Um, I think USC might be able to score a little too much offense for them, but I like their matchup there better than I do with Penn State. But overall, I mean, is a 9-3 a successful year? You lose 3 games. Is that? I mean, that's kind of consistent with Matt Rule year 3. He loses 2 games or 1 game or somewhere
Yeah.
around there. So
I
I
mean,
mean,
you can't really. Yeah, you don't. Nobody's gonna get on the TV or a network and be like, we expect Nebraska to make the playoffs this year. Like
no, but
you
if
don't.
you finish the year a top 25 team,
For sure.
I think
I
that's a
will
win.
agree. I think they should be a top 25 team, but the way that they played Michigan, who was ranked number 21, still don't think Michigan is a top 25 team to me.
Oof. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, I would have a lot of discrepancies with about who is a top 25 team and who's
Like,
not.
personally, I just don't see it. I feel like once we're just handing out numbers, personally to me, because I feel like Michigan should have somewhat dominated this game,
Yeah,
but they didn't, because Nebraska's the same thing every year. They're going to give you the same slice of cake every year for the most part. It may be a little bit bigger or maybe a little bit smaller, but they ain't changing flavors.
yeah. I just do. So like with Michigan in this game, right? Like they really relied on their run game, and they didn't have to ask Bryce. Bryce Underwood didn't have to play hero ball with his arm, right? He didn't have to absolutely blow freaking Nebraska away throwing the ball. Let's see what his stat line was in this one. He was 12 for 22 for 105 yards. So, yeah. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Really, they were able to make it work with their run game. I think this still shows you some question marks when it comes to Bryce Underwood, just where he's at as far as his development as a passer. Because you saw whenever you got a team, when Michigan's going to go up against a team like an Ohio State or Penn State, some of these teams with these better defensive lines that are able to take away their running game, kind of like Oklahoma did, you're going to see where they actually, they're going to struggle to move the football, but just because they're not going to be able to rely on Bryce Underwood, at least at this point in his career, right? He's a true freshman. It's probably going to come, but I just don't think Michigan's there yet. However, they got time to get him there. They got time to improve. They get their head coach back next week. He's been gone for the last 2 weeks because he had that weird suspension deal where he missed the first game, played the second game, and then missed the next 2. Since you can just kind of pick which games you want to miss. Uh, but yeah, so kind of interesting there. But I think Michigan's gonna be all right with their upcoming schedule. Let's see who they got on the schedule coming up. They got Wisconsin, a good game against USC coming up. Then they play Washington, who's got a big one versus Ohio State this weekend. This Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, and then Ohio State. So I don't see any of those teams being able to kind of make Michigan one-dimensional when it comes to running the football, or making them have to only be able to run the football. So they may get on a run here and maybe set up for a big matchup at, versus Ohio State there at the end of the year.
Okay.
What you got? Anything else on that one? Michigan, Nebraska?
Not really.
Not
I'm
really.
ready to talk about. I'm ready to talk about how Indiana put it on them boys.
Boy, that one. I mean, all right. I'll go out. I'm always honest with y'all every week when it comes to my scores or my predictions. Right. Last week I went 4-1 in my predictions in the biggest toss-up games. This one I got completely wrong. And Kurt Signetti, I should have listened, man. I've Googled you plenty of times. You win football games, and I thought the known commodities that were Illinois, right? I thought with Luke Altmaier at quarterback that I just didn't know enough about this Indiana team. And what I learned this weekend is this Indiana team might be better than the one that made the playoff last year.
Balled, man. I mean, when the score just kept jumping up and up and up, it's like, okay, well, they played good to get out in front, and then it's like Illinois was like, you know what? We're just gonna try to hang in there, and then even hanging in there didn't hang in there.
No, it didn't.
So, like you can just look at the team, like they just lost hope. Like you get up 35 to 7. You're just like, You just hang in there. You just kind of lose hope. You can just tell that they were defeated.
Yeah, and it's so. I don't even think I said it. Indiana ended up winning this game. It was 19 Indiana versus number 9 Illinois. Indiana ended up winning 63-10.
Crazy.
So like they were. I mean, they treated Illinois like they were a group of 5 team. Man, just I mean, just pure domination. And really, what was most impressive about me is Illinois scored early. They got 10 points in the first half. Indiana, after being up, 35 to, what was it, 35-10 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana ended up shutting Illinois out in the second half and putting up another 28 points. I mean, just absolutely crazy game that, I mean, I know you were confident in Indiana last week, but even you can say that you didn't kind of
I
expect this.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know. I was
Well,
just
none of us knew. Neither one of these teams had really played anybody to this point.
taking a hypothetical guess. Just throwing it out there.
So
But
after Fernando Mendoza went 21 for 23 for 267 yards and 5 touchdowns?
am
Are
I
you
on
on
the team
are you on the Fernando Mendoza for Heisman team? It's been being
for
thrown out there
for a Heisman?
for a Heisman.
You gotta do it again.
You want to see it again?
Yeah. You played Indiana. You played Illinois that didn't show up.
Well, we may get to see it again here in 2 weeks whenever they take on Oregon.
That's when you come. That's when you show up and you do it because Oregon's running game is stupid.
Yeah.
So you do it again. I never had faith in number 9 Illinois anyway. I was never like, oh, number 9 Illinois. Like, oh man, that should be something you should be worried about. Like I've heard of Indiana, but you never really heard of number 9 Illinois.
Yeah, they kind of caught a lot of preseason. I think it's more of like a preseason hype machine.
Yeah, it's like, how did you get to number 9?
Well, they finished last year pretty good. I think they finished the year like 10-3, something along those lines. So everybody's thinking, well, they got Luke Altmaier coming back. Brett Bielema with another year is going to improve this much. And man, what do you think about this Indiana defense? Held Illinois to 161 yards. They went 1 for 10 on third down. And Illinois only had 20 minutes time of possession.
Dang.
Just crazy. I mean, just dominant, dude.
20 minutes?
That's it. They had the ball for 20 minutes, Illinois did.
They had the ball for a halftime.
Halftime. That's it.
They had the ball for halftime, and they gave the ball back for 4 quarters to the other team. That's crazy.
What's crazy to me, so I know we've already discussed our hate for the AP poll, right? I make it very clear. How is Illinois still ranked after getting beat like this?
Like, you mean top 25 rate?
Yeah, they top 25 still. I think they're 23.
Who's below them?
On the top 25 poll?
Yes, let me see. Who's below them?
Let me look. I'll look it up real quick. But yeah, it's just crazy. I know they're still ranked. I think they are 23. Let me see. This is great podcasting we got going for y'all. Illinois 23. Below them is 2 Big 12 teams of TCU and BYU. And then,
Okay.
And then Auburn is going to be the next team out. So Auburn is 26.
Oh, ooh. Now I'm looking. USC's 21. Northern Dame still 1 or 2, and they're still top 22. Well, if you leave Northern Dame in there, I can see why you leave Illinois in there because,
Yeah, but Notre Dame's at least lost close games. You get beat 63-10. 63-10. What Texas beat Sam Houston State by? 55-0?
Yeah, I guess.
That's almost the same game. That's almost the same game. You know what I mean? And if we're saying Indiana is below Texas, right? Texas is number 10, Indiana's number 11. Well, then I guess Sam Houston State must be a 27th ranked team. They got to be, right? But I mean, by that logic.
I mean, I get it. Like getting beat but I guess what saved them is they got beat by another ranked team.
Yeah, that's the logic, right? I just don't think there should be a no world where you're getting beat 63-10 and you're still a top 25 team.
I think that's what saved them is they just got beat by another ranked team. Now, if they would have got beat by someone unranked, then no, we can't talk about them being ranked at all in top 25.
No, but yeah, that's what saved them. So let's touch on one last game here from week 4. We have Florida versus Miami.
Gosh, I'm so DJ Lagway. You don't understand how big of a fan I am for you, and I don't even know why I am your fan.
Man,
But I got nothing but faith in you, DJ.
How long before Billy Napier loses his job? Miami ended up winning 26-7. Just looked more physical than Florida on kind of all fronts. Props on Florida's defense. They kept kind of Florida in it, even with the offensive miscues and, Florida not even pushing the ball. I mean, mainly throwing like little side screens, and they weren't really trying to test Miami's defense really at all with any kind of vertical passing game. And so, I mean, props on Florida's defense for keeping Miami in check. But, man.
There's only so much you can do. If we go 3 and out, 3 and out, 4 and out, 4 and out, 4 and out, 4 and out, eventually, statistically speaking, they're going to score.
Yeah.
Statistically. If I keep just giving you more chances than what we're putting up points of, you're going to score. It has to happen. And Florida has one of the best defenses in the country. I don't care what nobody tell me. The way that Florida defense is keeping them in the game to where they could actually try to win a game is actually stellar. Stellar performance by the defense all the time. But you can't blame it on the defense when, your defense makes a stop, they punt the ball, your offense goes 4 and out. We just got off the field.
Yeah. And I mean, how many times do you want them to do it, right? I mean, they give you a chance and they give you a short field, whatever, they get an interception. I mean, you don't do anything with it. So, I mean, what do you want them to do?
You just can't blame the defense. Like, the only thing you can't even really, I don't blame DJ Lagway for the season that he's having. He is coming off a season-ending injury last year, no offseason, and thrown into the fire again. And just
expected to be their savior, by the way.
And expected to make real life decisions out there, read defenses, read coverages, make the right decision. He didn't have the reps or the time to even get better. He just had to rehab. So, I mean, I understand why you start him because he's DJ Lagway. His potential is great, but I mean, that's like throwing a rookie quarterback in the NFL on week 1 and expecting him to get you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a big ask, right? Especially with Florida schedules. And it doesn't get any easier from here, right? It's not like Florida's like, well, we got through this part. Now it's like, no, they got Texas coming up here in a week.
I believe they can beat Texas.
We'll save that.
I believe that they can beat Texas.
We'll save that.
As long as they don't hurt themselves. How many penalties? Look at Florida's penalties from last game.
From last game against Miami?
Yep. How many penalties did they get?
3 penalties for 20.
Oh, that's good. That's great. 3 penalties? I remember the week before that, they had like 15 penalties. They just beat themselves with penalties. Penalty.
Well, I mean, that and interceptions. I mean, Lagway threw 5 against LSU. So
yeah, and LSU still didn't move the ball. So, again, to Florida's defense.
Well, I mean, they got to do better than 0 for 13 on 3rd down, right? I mean, props to Miami. Miami, they're clearly proving themselves. We talked about it last week. They continue to answer the call. Everybody has their doubts. It's same old Miami, same old this. Miami continues to answer the call and continues to prove that they very well are probably a top 5 team right now in college football.
I mean, I don't understand how people can say same old Miami. We have never talked about Miami in a long time like the way we were watching Miami today. I have never been like, put the U up.
No, never. What I'm saying is that Miami would always get a bunch of preseason hype from like the early 2000s days after they fell off. It's every year Miami's back, Miami. This year Miami might actually be freaking back.
But you got to think Miami and USC went out at the same time with whatever their suspension was, So they're actually kind of coming back at the same time, which shows you how long it took for them programs to actually rebuild.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to catch up in college football when you get behind.
When you get behind or you can't go to bowl games. Like you can't, Matt, you can't say like, I'm going to go get this 5-star recruit who can't even go play in things that he's trying to go win.
That's fair.
So why would I be a 5-star recruit or receiver and I'm getting offered to go to Miami when I can just go to Texas? At least Texas can play in something and I can get a ring.
Yeah. So big one there. Big win for Miami. Do you want to touch on the
I love Carson Beck. Carson's the guy. He got the swagger about him. That's the guy.
Do you want to touch on the Missouri South Carolina game? I know we predicted it last week. Missouri ended up winning 29-20 over South Carolina. Lenore Sellers played the full game. Did actually end up showing up and playing. Just even with Lenore Sellers, South Carolina just wasn't quite good enough to beat Missouri.
No,
He didn't have. I mean, granted, his top running back was 3 carries for 7 yards. So I'm not saying
okay. I look at it like this: when you listen to people that are way better at this thing than I am about sports, you listen, they compare him to like Cam Newton and stuff, which you kind of can see, but he just can't do it all himself. There's no way South Carolina expects to have a winning season if your number one threat is your quarterback. You're basically telling the quarterback to throw the ball to himself and go catch it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help when you're running the ball for -9 yards. It's not going to be beneficial. And you're not to mention you're giving the ball. Missouri's running for 285 on you. It's probably not a winning recipe, right? That's what you could call. If you showed me that stat, just that stat alone, right? Rushing stats for each team, I would think Missouri beat them by 25.
I mean,
so props to South Carolina for hanging in there, right?
Props to their defense for hanging in there for 200 plus yards on the ground.
285 inside, almost 300 yards on the ground.
That's a committee. They're just literally saying, "Who wants to run the ball today?"
Whoever wants to, they can.
Yeah, whoever wants to touch the ball today, get in there. That's what they
put you in there, Day, and get you a couple runs.
Shoot, I could have given 5-10 yards. That's 5-10, 5-10 with chains, baby.
Oh man, but yeah, I wanted to touch on that one. But overall, man, exciting week for college football last week. I mean, it was awesome. A lot of awesome games. But we got even bigger week this next week. That seems to what always seems to happen. It's like, each week in college football, the next week's better, the next week's better, the next week's better. A bunch of huge games coming up. So make sure y'all catch that week 5 preview episode that we put out this week with me, and Day will be joining me again for that one. Day, you got anything else on this episode, man?
No, my man. Just thank you for having me. This is
man. We appreciate you for joining us and filling in for our boy Monty while he deals with some of his work stuff, man. So, as always, thank y'all for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the show, like the show, comment on it. If there's anything y'all want us to see, anything y'all want us to discuss, man, hit us up in the comments. Tell your friends about us. Like I said, that's usually one of the best ways to spread the show, is just tell your buddy about it, man. Reach out to him, be like, yo, check this out. Send him a link, whatever the case. And until next time, we'll catch y'all. Peace.